What's good, everybody? I'm Rerouted, and I got the name you know, the face you don't, Dark Sight with me. How do you feeling, bro?
Feeling good.
How's it feel to be on like the opposite side of the camera for once?
It's great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it weird? Is it awkward?
No, I'm fine. I'm chilling.
So a lot of people know you just simply as a videographer, but you know, you do so much more than that. How would you title yourself? Like, what would you give yourself as like what would you title yourself?
What would I title myself? Definitely just. I mean, I don't want to put no extra shit on it. So cameraman. I'm just a cameraman at the end of the day.
Almost everyone knows you as, you know, one of like New England's tastemakers, one of the pretty much the primary go-to guy for videos all around New England. But videos weren't always how you started. You actually you played a strong role in like the urban explorer scene in Boston years and years ago. Can you kind of talk about that and detail that?
I mean, yeah. That's what I used to do every day, every weekend. Trips to Boston, rooftop and crazy shit, construction sites, cranes, tunnels, everything. It was my life. That's that.
Would you consider that like your creative start, or where?
Definitely wasn't my creative start. It was my like.
I feel like that's when you came into your own almost.
It was my like. It sounds like probably weird, but it was my like attention gathering creative start for sure. Like people started paying attention to whatever I was doing for whatever reason.
What was the difference between that and maybe what you were doing previously?
Publishing stuff, social media.
Essentially just taking it more seriously?
Not even, just literally just posting consistently all the time, creating a brand.
At what point did you pick up a camera?
I mean, I took a photo class in high school. Long story short, didn't finish the class. I bought a camera probably in high school, yeah.
Was there any specific reason? Like I bought mine kind of literally on a whim. There wasn't any purpose as to why I really bought mine, but everything just figured itself out. Was there any reason why you wanted to get into it?
Yeah, I was like big into sneakers and shit. So a good way to like get known or get clients pop in, become recognizable or create a brand as like a reseller per se was you got to fire Instagram that like post fire shit. So like I was like, all right, I want to do that because I want to turn this into money, more money.
How did you initially build your way into the Urban Explorer network and the scene? Because from my perspective and just from knowing you, it seems like it was roughly the same, maybe like dozen people or so that you were with. Not to say it was limited to that, but it seems like it was a tight-knit little group that y'all were really like exploring with. So how did you kind of maneuver into that?
I just met a few people and then kind of went from there. My whole thing always is like, I'm like very independent, so doing stuff myself is like, that's cool. I could go do whatever, hit crazy spots by myself. I'm cool with that. But then that came with the other people who are also doing that in a small group or solo. They're like, hey, let's link, do some shit. People will know about it, and then it just kind of grew from there and created a little small network.
At the same time, you're very introverted as well. Was picking up a camera at all kind of just a way to express yourself, or like, or how does that dynamic work itself out?
Probably. Wouldn't necessarily say yes or no, but like probably had an
contributed
influence
in some
on
way.
It. Yeah, for sure.
What did you learn from kind of building with all those, with that group within Boston in terms of like maintaining relationships or just taking your work more seriously, since it was so much different than what you were doing previously?
I mean, it was like more of a fun, friendly competition. We're like, all right, who's taking the next quote unquote viral, that level of virality photo, or who's hitting the next crazy spot, who's getting the next bad publicity on the news, like whatever the fuck it may have been. Like, yeah, I don't even know what the question was, so.
Regardless, for those who don't know, that's actually how your name came to be, Dark Sight.
Yeah.
How much would you like to speak to that?
I don't know, whatever you want to know.
Well, okay, so how did Dark Sight come to be?
It was like 4:30 a.m. in my dorm room, and I'm like waking up to like hella like calls from my mom, wondering why the fuck I'm on Boston news channels at like 4 a.m. showing stuff that I did with me in it. And she was like, what the fuck's going on? You're going to go to jail forever. You're in a lot of trouble. And I was like, what are you even talking about? And then at that time, my Instagram name was my government. So I was like, okay, let's, not that this actually was a way to prevent them knowing who I was, but I was like, I'm changing my name right now.
So it was a way to resist from your parents, or like?
No. It was a way for law enforcement or whoever, whatever. I didn't want my government name just, this person, this whatever did this, and like, don't do it. Don't be like this person. So I was like, dark site. I don't really know. That dark site, I feel like resembles my style well, at the time especially, like the way I shot.
Let's rewind. Like, you went to college for a little bit of time.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about how Chicago kind of molded you in some way, or the influence Chicago had on you.
I mean, it definitely changed everything.
For those who don't know, you went to DePaul.
Yeah, I went to DePaul University for a year. Yep. It changed literally everything. I went to Chicago, met so many people, came up with the idea that I wanted to start shooting videos. Created a crazy network there. It was fun. So it was like the first time I like started going out or like meeting people who were like weren't from back home. Like it was like a cool like thing.
What triggered that transition into videos, opposed to sticking with photos?
Money. Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
I watched like there was local artists in New Hampshire, like where I'm from, that were paying whatever $600 for a music video, and I was like, whoa, they gave me like 25 to do a photo shoot for them. I was like, I need to figure out how to do that, because $25 isn't cutting it. I'm not doing, like, yeah, I can't survive.
And at what point did you realize that school and just, you know?
I used to go to LA for like long weekend trips or whatever, because like when I was in Chicago, I like, school wise, I didn't really do shit, so I was just kind of getting by. So it was just like having fun, going places, doing whatever. I was in LA. I don't remember what I was doing. I'm pretty sure I was just at like a spot, just chilling, wherever I was, and I was just like, literally texted my mom. I was like, yeah, I'm dropping out of school, by the way. And then she was like, all right, cool. Like, we'll figure out whatever you got to do. She was with it.
And just because, and this is a question more so for me, but you know how much I like to read. And what was that book you said that catered to a lot of that decision?
It was it's called The True Life by like Alan Rideau or something like that.
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard to find. But you
yeah, I had to read that for the
it was by
psychology
force.
class.
It was by force.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it was like that was like the greatest class I ever took. The professor was awesome. Like it was cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was your mom's initial reaction, or maybe just your parents in general?
They're with it. I mean, they saw what I started doing and where I feel like I had gone to. I've been like I feel like my whole life was almost self-employed. Like I went from one hustle to the next hustle to the next, so it like consistently grew in terms of success. So they were like, okay, if that's what he thinks is next, then sure, let him do it, try it, delete. Like I don't know.
So they
don't
just
care.
they
They're
just
like,
essentially believed in it because
Yeah.
they had no reason otherwise not
exactly.
to. So you made the transition to videos, and what was it? And at that point, you had people were familiar with you creatively,
Mm-hmm.
but not in regards to videos. So how did you build up that clientele, or just kind of get people to trust you enough to start shooting videos?
I mean, it took a lot. It took like, literally I would ask people to shoot that, like actually like beg me to shoot for them now back then, and they wouldn't. So, that's ironic. And yeah, basically just whoever said yes, I was like, let's shoot. Like they didn't $0 for the first who knows how many videos. I was like, I just want to like make videos that like people are gonna see and like, and then react, like attract more people, like basically.
So that brings up a good point. Would you how important is it? How important is it, or how much would you recommend somebody really does work for free, or kind of just in order to kind of prove something, or just make it work?
Like I did transfer from photos to videos to make more money, but that was never like the thing to begin with. Like I've done who knows, 10 music videos for maybe $2,000, and those 10 music videos took me 5 months of my life to do for $2,000. Like,
But
free, like, I don't know, like, there's no, do whatever you got to do, like, but there's no right or wrong answer in my opinion. Do
And-
free shit if that's what you got to do. If you don't, cool, like, lucky you. Like,
yeah, I guess it's circumstantial. And you mentioned that those videos took you significantly longer than a video might take you today. So, talk about that learning curve. Talk about the learning curve, what software you started on, and kind of just going through the motions of figuring it all out, and that relationship, kind of, you know, with your
yeah,
work.
I mean, I feel like I had history in Photoshop at least, and Lightroom, which is all Adobe products. So I was like, all right, Adobe, Premiere, video, cool. We're starting in Premiere. Did that, played with After Effects, played with Premiere, watched thousands of YouTube tutorials, just like literally copying edits that like they were like, here's how to do this edit, and like I would be like, all right, I'm gonna do it, and that's now in the video because I just learned how to do it and it looks cool. I mean, learning curve, it just definitely takes a long time to create a style. You could repeat shit that you do or other people do pretty easily, but creating something that like people that's recognizable or different in like either a good or a bad way is takes time, or it's not even just sitting at a computer. It's just, I don't know, different sources of inspiration to build up to what you want your stuff to look like.
And how would you describe yours? Like, what is your like distinguishing quality that Dark Sight is just can do better than anyone, or just how you set yourself apart?
I can't do anything better than anyone, but I like being innovative.
In what sense though?
I'll pull up and shoot a video in 30 minutes and you'll never know, and it'll look better than like the next 20 music videos you'll see from that artist per se. And if I don't know what my style is, I really have no idea.
You've never had to even
I've
describe
never like
it.
thought about that, or my style is whatever I feel like I want it to be, and that's just kind of how it plays out. I feel like there's influences that influence my style, but I couldn't put my style into words.
Who are some of those names that played a role in you becoming who you are?
The person that single-handedly probably influenced me to switch from photo to video without even knowing it was this kid, Jake the Shooter. Just how he was shooting for people in my city, and I was like, whoa, like, sick, cool, like, how can I do that, basically? I bought my first video camera off of him, too.
I didn't even know that. That's cool.
Yeah, it was, I don't know how much I paid for it. I shot my first probably 35 music videos on that camera. Had one lens. Yeah, it was all manual focus. It was a little rough patch, but it was good. Good camera for the time. In terms of style-wise or how I shoot, the first music video that I really watched that I was like, I want to be able to do that, and this is really, really cool, was a music video by Young Tada. It was like, I don't even know what the song is. Lil Mosey, I think it was Pull Up. It was like the one, it was all red and blue in a garage. Bunch of effects behind them, like going in and out, and I was like, I want to do that, and I want to know how to do that because that is sick.
It was just the intricacy of it, or
I was just like, that's attention and detail on it was like insane, and it wasn't effects that I had ever like seen before, and I was like, this is sick.
Talk about the initial videos releasing, because obviously you had a network throughout the city, but what was the reception in regards to the videos and from other artists who you may, for the lack of a better way to put it, had to prove more to in order to work with them?
I don't tend to like anything that isn't positive either. So whether there was positive or negative or whatever anyone's opinion was, I'm big on like not caring. Like I don't really care about what they had to think, good or bad. Good, sure, I'm grateful for it, but bad, I'm like, I don't care.
You mentioned buying that first camera from Jake and using that for a majority of your come up, I guess you could say. How significant do you think equipment is to a videographer's work?
I feel like equipment comes with how much people trust you. So let's say you're really good at shooting music videos, but you don't even have a camera at the time. Let's say you had needed to sell your camera for life, like to survive. Then you have your iPhone. Like if you're good and people trust you, that's cool. Run it with your iPhone. But if you're at a level where you're trying to prove something, you definitely need like, you can't be shooting on a potato camera and expecting people to be satisfied with what they get. Like it has to be up to par with at least like YouTube quality music videos sort of thing.
One thing you used to tell me, because this person right here was someone who Jake the Shooter to Dark Side in terms of video was Dark Side to Rerouted in terms of photos, I guess you could say. And so one thing you've always told me is that it's really never about the shot, but it's about the edit. Obviously that caters toward toward photos, but do you think there's any parallel in regards to video?
I mean, I feel like I started shooting videos, and then saving the entire video in the edit. So for sure.
Okay.
That's like how I started
Okay.
music videos, was learning how to save really bad footage and making it look okay.
You mentioned that initially you didn't have a lot of freedom in terms of who you could work with because you had to build that kind of catalog, but now anyone essentially is at your disposal. So how do you go about finding someone to work with?
I mean, I'm big on like probably two things, which is like, in my opinion, the two most important things is like any type of image that they built and just the music. Like, is the music there or not? Do I enjoy it? Because I don't like to shoot songs that I wouldn't listen to on my own time.
And that kind of caters to just your ear as
People can hate the music I shoot. I like it, and clearly the artist likes it if they made it. So cool.
Of course, like the shots are super significant. The edits are important. The video itself is what you do with the camera is important, but how significant is the branding aspect of an artist and just portraying who they are within a video? How important is that? And elaborate on that a little bit.
Like the most important part of being an artist is branding, in my opinion.
But from your job for your job as a director, in terms of capturing that?
That's why I need to be like connected to the artist in some way, shape, or form, because I feel like you can tell when I shoot with an artist that like I'm at least like a mutual with, or if like it was just like I shot it to like pay my rent. Like
I mean, that's fair. Like
branding's important. Yeah, I like to be super hands-on with like every aspect of the video, like the outfit, the song, the locations, literally every part of it. I like to have some control over, or at least have some type of input or say.
Is that a difficult balance to find? Or do you kind of have you built up that trust and freedom to be able to have a say in that? Because I mean,
I definitely have built up a decent amount of trust between either people just seeing my work or personal like trust, as like we know
relationship based.
We're cool. Yeah, like exactly, relationship based.
Explain the dynamic or talk about if there's a balance between maintaining a personal relationship with an artist you work with closely versus keeping it business. Because I know you just mentioned you'd like to work with people you're really cool with, but obviously there has to be some kind of line there.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard, but I feel like I learned to detach any sort of emotional connection with a lot of the business aspect of things. So I could be cool with somebody or not cool with somebody, but business is business, and you gotta get done what you need to get done.
Who are some of your favorite people to work with? And why?
Who do I like to work with? That's a funny question.
Matter of fact, don't say why. Just like say some names, and then we can just go. We can dive into each of them and talk about the individual strengths.
Who do I like to work with? That's a great question. Recently I've been crazy locked in with a couple mass artists, who are like fun and like completely trust whatever I want to do, or like literally whatever I want to do, they're with, and that'd be G Nipsey and Y Jizzle, both going crazy. Other people I've liked to work with that I enjoy working with, that I have a lot, would be Shisco for sure. I like shooting with Sip. It's just good time. It's always fun. Low 22, I like working with him a lot because the end result is always like, it somehow has happened to work that a lot of my favorite videos are with him. So clearly I like to work with him because I make something good out of it. And then I like working with like anyone like new or like refreshing, someone I've literally never heard before, never seen their face. Someone that like I can not like benefit from, but like we can both benefit from working with each other.
Or it's just mutually beneficial.
Yeah, like
Talk about what's going on back home in terms of the music scene. We can start with New Hampshire and then expand into New England. But how do you feel about the music scene back home?
I mean, I feel like there's a cool few artists. Nothing exciting that I'm excited about, or I'd be there. Really.
And what draws you in to someone like G Nipsey or Y Jizzle?
It's fun. It's refreshing. They're consistent. Their work ethic is great. There's no... Like, I hate, like, shooting stuff that... One, there's going to be, like, 17 pages of, like, text for critiques. And two, like, while shooting, they're, like, trying to plan their own shots that they want. I'm like, all right, well, I don't want to shoot with you. If, like, I clearly know what I'm doing if you want to shoot with me. Like, so let me do my thing, and you're going to get what you like. Or you can control whatever you want, but you're going to get what you made.
What do you think like back home is missing?
Studios, managers, anyone that wants to help any sort of artist. That's kind of non-existent, which is a big part of a lot of artists' success, is having a manager who can literally just like pitch you until you get put on, because that's like what some managers do and it works.
It's a balance though, because the effort also has to come significantly from the artist as well, which sometimes is not necessarily the case.
I mean, I feel like, back home there's plenty of artists that have unlimited potential, but
potential and drive aren't the same thing.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it's a weird balance. Yeah, but people can make really good music at a really slow rate and be successful.
If we did this interview 5 years ago and I asked you to describe the scene going on back home, what would you say?
I'd be like, oh, it's up next, blah, 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 all this, everything that would be hyping up any positive words of encouragement, basically. Because I have artists that I've shot with recently, the last, let's say, 6 months, that are like, hey, whatever happened to those artists? Like, where did they go? I think they're from, like, Manchester or something. I'm like, yeah, all right, who are you talking about? And then they name it. I'm like, oh, yeah, good question. Like, who knows where they are, what they're doing? Who knows? But, like, then again, it's like, if you don't, like, no one's obligated to do anything they don't want to do. So,
of course,
if you don't want to do that all the way, like, don't. Do whatever you want to do. Like, that's cool.
I wouldn't say from the outside looking in, because you do work so closely with so many people, but what qualities of an artist are most important that contribute to their success?
Literally my biggest thing always is just like branding and like consistency. So like any way, shape, or form being consistent, which can literally just be like a story post every day, or like interacting with people on social media every day, or like hitting record and like recording every day, like something simple.
Just trying.
Writing a song, just doing something every day. Because like I'm like, I do stuff every day, so if the people that I want to work with should also be doing stuff every day, because that's like how,
if you're catering to their career.
Like, exactly. And like I believe that that's how success is, like, comes out of things, is like you work for it. You don't just like, nothing like actually just no one just blows up on accident. Like, it's not like a real thing. Just to the general public, it's a real thing.
Why do you think that directors don't work with each other nearly as much as I feel like they could? Almost as if like an artist doing a feature. Like, why don't you think Cole Bennett and then maybe like another significant media company do a crazy video together? Maybe
So
that's
like
a bad...
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
well, maybe like why don't... why don't like you and Jake do a video together maybe or something, like anything along those lines. Like why don't you think certain directors just don't collaborate with one another?
I mean, it's probably like multiple things, but there's plenty of artists and plenty of music in this world for everyone to do it on their own.
Of course.
First off, I feel like directing is
And there's enough beats for an artist to never do a feature.
yeah.
But I feel like it would just for kicks. Like
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to working with whoever, anyone, ever, but like, I feel like that's just not how it works. I don't know. It could be changed. I've never been approached.
Maybe that's one of those trends or something.
I've never been approached, but I also did just co-direct a video with another person. So,
Have you ever given any consideration to like starting your own label?
no time soon.
Would you? Because you have the ear for it, you have the knowledgeability for it.
Is knowledgeability a word?
I was literally just thinking that in my head. You're knowledgeable enough.
I mean, in what aspect?
Just how to build an artist, branding,
Sure.
all the aspects that cater to an artist's success.
Um,
I feel like I just feel like it wouldn't be a step in the wrong direction.
I don't like
When
taking
the time's
like,
right.
credit out of anyone else's pocket ever. I'll take my own credit all fucking day, but
I don't
wouldn't-
know if that's like the right way to look at it though.
that's how I would look at it, which is why I wouldn't want to do it per se.
I think it's just like the relationship is a different dynamic. I don't feel like
Yeah.
you're doing, if you were to take that route, I don't think you're doing anything different than what you're doing now, except potentially supplying that artist with some more resources, whether they be financial or network based. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't
Right
f-
now, my resources I'm not comfortable enough with the resources I have to do anything close to that.
No, but absolutely. But when the time's right, I feel like you stepping into that role wouldn't be so different than what you're doing right now.
Definitely not. Yeah, definitely not. But
So
that's
my
a long
point.
term.
But my point is, you wouldn't be like taking away from anyone's success.
No, for sure. But yeah, it's just right now I don't even want to have a conversation like that because it's like I would
It's
never.
not where
think
your mind
of
is
that.
at.
Yeah, not even close to that. Yeah.
So like that.
Maybe in 10 years, literally maybe 10 years.
So that might be the answer to my following question in terms of anything TV, film, video related or movie related. Yeah, would you ever
about
step
it?
into that world?
Yeah.
Talk about like the parallels between a music video and creating a movie. I don't feel like they could be too far off.
No, definitely not. I mean, I like to create like either a feeling or a vibe or aesthetic or just like a visual experience that's positive. And I feel like a music video or a movie is that you're creating a visual experience that you want someone to enjoy.
It's interesting you say that because I was just about to say maybe I should have asked this earlier, but where does your inspiration come from? Because you, of course, you watch like music videos all day or whatever, but like you're not one to watch movies. You don't watch TV really. So where does your inspiration come from?
I mean, obviously, like probably other visuals, but other than that, I really there ain't much there. Life, no, but like my life doesn't influence a music video. Like what? No.
Yeah, you're right. So
It's just up here. I really don't know. There's no other visual things or just my own sitting in my room thinking about, all right, what do I want this to look and feel like?
what do you think are the most important attributes in a great music video?
The first 15 seconds, I need to be sold, usually. So literally, if the first 15 seconds of a music video, which is the same for me for a song, which that's probably a bad thing at sometimes, but the first 15 seconds of anything needs to attract my attention in order to continue, basically. But the most important attributes, like color palettes, are really important to me in like my videos. And just like not cliche shit, original shots. Don't shoot every music video the same way you shot the last one, or if you do, make sure it's the way that you shoot them and not the way everyone else shoots them.
You've lived obviously back home. You're super familiar with all around New England. Um, you've spent more than enough time in Chicago, and you and I have lived together out here for almost a year now. Where do you what talk about the differences between each place that you've lived, and maybe even compare and contrast them, some of the positives and negatives, the benefits, the between each of them.
I mean, my whole life I was always like, I'm gonna live in California. Didn't know why. I still don't really know why I live here. I just do because I want to, really. Chicago's sick. I had a really good time there. I lived downtown there, so it was like I got to experience that like just downtown major city vibe, which was sick. I really liked that. But I wouldn't want to live in downtown LA. So I don't live in downtown LA. But living in downtown Chicago is sick.
Big difference.
Like super different. Yeah, but people wouldn't know that unless you live there, but you go there.
What advice would you have for someone even starting to pursue a creative career, or someone who may not necessarily know where to start?
Start. Actually, that's like my
Yeah,
biggest thing.
I'm hip.
No matter like your resources, what you think you're at now, just like you got to grow from something. Or I would like to think you grow from something. I hope you grow from something. So starting's like the biggest part of doing it. If you never start it, if you wait, you overthink it. You're like, oh, I got to do this different. I'm gonna do this later because I don't have this or don't have that. Like, nah, just do it now, and then like you figure out how to make it perfect at the end, in my opinion. Like, I just started doing music videos. I literally had no idea what I was doing, but I was like, I have a camera that presses record, so I'm here. I'm gonna figure it out later.
How important is social media to a creative career?
It's a lot. It's not everything, but it's a lot. Because I know people who do really well for themselves, and they don't even go on social media, and they do creative stuff for work. But
Does that cater to the branding aspect, or?
I think that's more creating your network. Like the people who aren't on social media, they might work for a production company or something along those lines, where they just have to like show up to their job, and then they're literally going to do that work every day. But doing it independently is different, especially as like a cameraman. It's not like you have people or assets or things to rely on, really. Like, you might have friends that might help you with stuff, but it's like not something that is very giving per se.
You've never seen yourself being a part of any sort of production company?
100%. I moved to Chicago to hopefully live, or hopefully get hired by what even is it called? By like an ad agency. Like, that was like my goal, like moving there. I was like, I want to get hired by this company, and then I'm gonna be able to work with all of these brands that I like see in real life.
What is next for Dark Sight? I know this is a very cliche question, but where do you? I feel like you're so focused on the now, you're very focused on what's happening currently, but at the same time, I know you're forward thinking enough to have some sort of idea where you want to take things. So where is that?
Bigger things, if anything. Bigger videos, bigger budgets, bigger artists, more widespread assets to use for videos. Basically, everything continue to grow. Like, I just want everything to continue to grow.
What else should the people know about Dark Sight?
Nothing. I don't want them to know anything.
I guess that kind of fits into into Dark Sight.
Just watch the videos, enjoy them. That's all I care about. Enjoy the videos. If you see the little logo in the bottom corner, it's like the shape of like a D and then like a S, and like, if you liked it, cool. I'm glad.
That seems.
If not, that's all right. It cuts to Aiden just drunk as fuck.
Yeah, gripping.
Gripping. He's gripping. He's gripping. Jack, my shoes.
Go watch.
They're from Fat John. He also wore this in an interview. I mean, in a music video. With these, no, these shoes are from a different music video. Fun fact: the other hat that I was gonna wear for this interview, Aiden ruined while wrestling Fat John on this exact balcony.